Let me ask you something. When was the last time you squeezed a little lemon into your water, drizzled it over your salad, or added it to your morning tea and felt like you were doing something really good for your body? Maybe you do it every single day. And honestly, most of the time you are doing something good. Lemon is one of nature's most powerful little fruits. It's packed with vitamin C. It supports your immune system. It helps with digestion. And it has antioxidants that fight inflammation. For people over 60, those benefits are not small. They are genuinely important. But here is what most health videos, most wellness websites, and honestly, even most doctors never talk about. There are certain foods that, when combined with lemon, can completely change how your body responds. What seems like a healthy habit can quietly work against you. And when you are over 60, your body does not have the same resilience it had at 35. Your digestive system, your kidneys, your medication metabolism, your blood pressure regulation, all of these systems become more sensitive. What you eat together matters more now than it ever did before. Now, before I go any further, I want to be very clear about something. I am not here to scare you or to make you feel like eating healthy is complicated and overwhelming. That is the last thing I want. What I am here to do is give you real, accurate, genuinely useful information that could protect your health, your comfort, and your quality of life. Because you deserve to feel great. You deserve to eat well and feel confident doing it. And you deserve someone to be honest with you about the things that could be quietly holding you back. So today, we're going to talk about 7 specific foods that you should never combine with lemon, especially if you are 60 or older. Some of these might surprise you. A few of them might actually be things you do every single day without realizing there could be a problem. And by the end of this, I promise you are going to have a much clearer picture of how to enjoy lemons safely and smartly as part of a healthy lifestyle. But first, I want to hear from you. Right now, before we dive in, tell me in the comments below, do you use lemon regularly? Maybe in your water, your cooking, your tea? And have you ever noticed any strange digestive reactions? Heartburn, bloating, or discomfort after eating? I would genuinely love to know. And if you have a friend or family member over 60 who loves lemon, please share this with them. It could make a real difference. Now let us get into it. Let us start with number 1, and this is one that surprises almost everyone when they first hear it. Lemon and milk, or really any dairy product, can be a genuinely problematic combination, particularly for people over 60. Now I know what you might be thinking. Lemon and dairy are combined all the time in cooking. Lemon cheesecake, lemon cream sauce, lemon yogurt parfait. And yes, in controlled culinary settings, those combinations can be perfectly fine. But when we are talking about consuming them together in a natural, unprocessed way, like squeezing lemon juice directly into a glass of milk, or drinking lemon water immediately before or after eating a dairy-heavy meal, something happens inside your stomach that deserves attention. Lemon is highly acidic. Its pH sits somewhere around 2 to 3, which is quite strong. Milk, on the other hand, is slightly alkaline or close to neutral. When these two meet in your stomach, the acid from the lemon causes the proteins in the milk to rapidly curdle. Now, this is not always dangerous, but here is why it matters for people over 60. As we age, our digestive enzyme production naturally declines. Our stomach acid, interestingly, also becomes less efficient over time. This combination means that curdled milk proteins can sit in your digestive tract longer than they should, leading to bloating, gas, discomfort, and sometimes nausea. For people who already have issues with lactose intolerance, irritable bowel syndrome, acid reflux, or gastritis, combining lemon and dairy can trigger a significant flare-up. And studies have shown that digestive sensitivity tends to increase with age. So what felt perfectly fine at 40 might genuinely cause problems at 65. If you love lemon and you love dairy, here is what I recommend. Give yourself at least 30 to 45 minutes between consuming lemon and eating dairy foods. If you are making a recipe that calls for both, cooking them together is usually less problematic than consuming them raw and simultaneously. And if you notice any consistent digestive discomfort after combining these two, it is worth talking to your doctor about your digestive health and enzyme production. Now let us move on to number 2, and this one is critically important, particularly if you take any kind of medication. We are talking about lemon and grapefruit, or more specifically, the way certain citrus fruits interact with a group of medications called statins, calcium channel blockers, and certain antihistamines. I know lemon is not grapefruit, but stay with me here, because lemon shares some of the same chemical compounds as grapefruit, just in smaller concentrations. Grapefruit is the most well-documented citrus fruit when it comes to drug interactions, because it contains high levels of furanocoumarins, which are compounds that block an enzyme in your body called CYP3A4. This enzyme is responsible for metabolizing a huge number of medications. When it gets blocked, drugs stay in your bloodstream longer and at higher concentrations than intended. This can lead to a dramatic increase in side effects, and in some cases, it can become genuinely dangerous. Now, fresh lemon juice, particularly in large quantities, contains furanocoumarins as well, though typically at lower levels than grapefruit. For most healthy people, this is not a significant concern. But for people over 60 who are on multiple medications, which statistically describes a very large portion of people in that age group, even a modest increase in drug concentration can matter. The medications most commonly affected include cholesterol-lowering statins like atorvastatin and simvastatin, blood pressure medications like amlodipine, certain heart rhythm medications, some immunosuppressants, and even certain anxiety medications. If you are on any of these, I strongly encourage you to ask your pharmacist or physician whether citrus in general, not just grapefruit, but also large quantities of lemon, could affect your medication levels. This does not mean you need to give up lemon. For most people, a squeeze of lemon in water or over food is perfectly safe. What I want you to be aware of is that consuming large amounts of lemon juice, like drinking multiple cups of heavily lemon-infused water throughout the day, every day, while on certain medications could be doing something you are completely unaware of. Knowledge is power here, and a quick conversation with your pharmacist could give you absolute clarity on where you stand. Moving to number 3, and this is a big one. I want to talk about lemon and high-potassium foods, particularly for people who have kidney issues or take certain medications for blood pressure or heart conditions. Lemon itself contains a modest amount of potassium. It is not a potassium bomb by any means, but when you combine it habitually with foods that are very high in potassium, things like bananas, avocados, potatoes, spinach, tomatoes, and beans, you may be unintentionally pushing your daily potassium intake quite high. Now, for most healthy people with well-functioning kidneys, this is manageable. Your kidneys are designed to regulate potassium levels in your blood. But here's the thing. After 60, kidney function naturally declines. The kidneys become less efficient at filtering excess potassium out of the blood. And for people on ACE inhibitors, which are commonly prescribed for high blood pressure and heart failure, or on potassium-sparing diuretics, the risk of elevated blood potassium, a condition called hyperkalemia, becomes very real. Hyperkalemia can cause symptoms ranging from muscle weakness and fatigue to heart palpitations. In severe cases, it can cause dangerous changes in heart rhythm. And the really tricky part is that many people do not notice mild hyperkalemia at all until it has progressed. If you have been told that your kidney function is reduced, or if you are on ACE inhibitors or any diuretics, I really encourage you to have a conversation with your doctor about your overall potassium intake. It is not about avoiding healthy foods. It is about being strategic and balanced. And combining lemon habitually with large servings of very high potassium foods is something worth being conscious of. Let us talk about number 4 now. And this one connects directly to a very common health issue that affects millions of people over 60. We are going to talk about lemon and antacids, or sodium bicarbonate, which some people take for heartburn or indigestion. Here is what happens. Lemon juice is acidic. Antacids are alkaline. They work by neutralizing acid in your stomach. When you take an antacid and then immediately drink lemon juice or lemon water, you are essentially working against your own medication. The antacid tries to raise the pH of your stomach, and the lemon immediately pulls it back down. But it goes further than just counteracting effectiveness. When a strong acid like lemon juice meets a strong alkaline like sodium bicarbonate in your stomach rapidly, it can produce carbon dioxide gas quite suddenly. This can lead to a sensation of bloating, burping, and discomfort that is actually quite unpleasant. For people with hiatal hernias or gastroesophageal reflux disease, which are both more common after 60. This kind of rapid pH fluctuation can aggravate symptoms significantly. Some people have heard that lemon water is alkalizing once it is metabolized, and this is technically true. The citric acid in lemon is metabolized into alkaline compounds in the body. But in the short term, in your stomach and esophagus, lemon is acidic. And if you are someone who struggles with acid reflux or heartburn, adding large amounts of lemon to your diet without consideration can make those symptoms considerably worse. If you love lemon and you also deal with acid reflux, here is a practical suggestion. Try diluting your lemon very well in a large amount of water and drinking it with a meal rather than on an empty stomach. And avoid combining it with antacids. If your reflux is significant and frequent, please work with your doctor to find the right dietary approach for you specifically. Now on to number 5. This one is about lemon and iron supplements, or iron-rich meals. And this is actually a nuanced one because it cuts both ways. You may have heard that vitamin C helps your body absorb iron more efficiently. And this is absolutely true. Vitamin C, which lemon contains in abundance, enhances the absorption of non-heme iron, which is the form of iron found in plant-based foods like spinach, lentils, and beans. So combining lemon with a spinach salad, for example, is actually a great nutritional strategy if you are trying to boost your iron levels. But here is where it gets complicated for people over 60 who are taking iron supplements, particularly high-dose iron supplements prescribed for anemia. When you take a large iron supplement alongside lemon juice or other high vitamin C sources, the iron absorption can become so enhanced that it actually stresses the gastrointestinal tract. High-dose iron is already quite hard on the stomach. It commonly causes nausea, constipation, stomach cramps, and sometimes dark stools. Adding a strong vitamin C source like lemon juice can intensify these gastrointestinal side effects significantly. Additionally, for people with a condition called hemochromatosis, which is a genetic condition where the body absorbs too much iron, combining lemon with iron-rich foods or supplements could further push iron absorption to dangerous levels. Iron overload is a serious condition that can damage the liver, heart, and other organs. So the practical guidance here is this. If you are taking prescribed iron supplements, take them according to your doctor's specific instructions regarding what to eat or drink alongside them. If you are not iron deficient or anemic and you are simply eating a normal, varied diet, combining lemon with iron-rich plant foods is generally beneficial. But if you are on supplemental iron, be thoughtful about the timing and quantity of lemon you consume around those doses. Let us move on to number 6, and I want to spend a little extra time on this one because I think it is one of the most overlooked and underappreciated interactions on this entire list. We are talking about lemon and aspirin, or more broadly, lemon and any NSAID pain reliever. Aspirin is the most commonly taken over-the-counter medication in the world. Many people over 60 take low-dose aspirin daily for heart protection. Others take aspirin, ibuprofen, or naproxen for pain relief, arthritis, or inflammation. These medications are deeply familiar. They feel safe because they are available without a prescription. But they have one well-established side effect that becomes more important with age, and that is their effect on the stomach lining. NSAIDs, including aspirin, inhibit an enzyme called COX-1. This enzyme is responsible for producing prostaglandins that protect the lining of your stomach and small intestine. When that protective lining is reduced, the stomach becomes more vulnerable to irritation, ulcers, and bleeding. This risk increases significantly with age. Now add lemon to this equation. Lemon juice is acidic and can be irritating to a stomach lining that is already compromised or vulnerable. Regularly drinking lemon water or consuming a lot of lemon around the same time as your aspirin or other NSAID use can increase the irritation of the stomach lining, worsen gastric sensitivity, and potentially contribute to or worsen gastric ulcers. This does not mean that having a lemon with your salad on the same day you take aspirin is going to give you an ulcer. That is not what I am saying. What I am saying is that if you are a regular NSAID user and you are also a daily heavy lemon consumer, and if you have noticed symptoms like stomach pain, persistent indigestion, dark stools, or any bleeding, these are things that warrant a serious conversation with your doctor. The solution, as always, is awareness. If you take daily aspirin, consider consuming your lemon earlier in the day rather than immediately before or after your aspirin dose. Avoid drinking lemon juice on an empty stomach if you are a regular NSAID user. And if you have any gut symptoms that concern you, please do not ignore them. And now we are at number 7. This last one is perhaps the most surprising, and it is one that genuinely catches people off guard. We're talking about lemon and certain herbal teas or supplements, specifically those that affect kidney function or blood pressure. There are many popular herbal supplements that people over 60 commonly take for a variety of reasons. Things like licorice root, which some people take for digestive issues or inflammation. Dandelion tea, which is consumed for its supposed detoxifying and diuretic effects. Certain green tea extracts taken in high doses for antioxidant benefits, and even supplements like St. John's wort, which some people use for mood support. Here is why lemon becomes a concern in this context. Lemon, in large amounts, has its own mild diuretic and kidney-influencing properties due to its citrate content. Citrate is actually beneficial in moderate amounts. It can help prevent certain types of kidney stones, which is wonderful. But when you combine high amounts of lemon juice with herbal preparations that are also strongly diuretic, you can create a situation where the kidneys are working harder than intended, electrolyte balance is disrupted, and blood pressure regulation is affected. Additionally, some herbal supplements compete with or interact with the same metabolic pathways as lemon compounds. For example, high-dose green tea extract combined with large amounts of lemon juice has in some cases been associated with increased oxidative stress on the liver, particularly when consumed on an empty stomach. This is not a common outcome, but it is a documented one, particularly in people who are combining multiple natural substances without guidance. Licorice root is particularly interesting here. Real licorice root, not the candy flavoring, contains a compound called glycyrrhizin that can raise blood pressure, cause fluid retention, and affect potassium levels. Combining this with large amounts of lemon in someone who is already hypertensive or on blood pressure medication is a combination I would not recommend without physician oversight. The takeaway from number 7 is this. Just because something is natural does not mean it is automatically safe in any combination or quantity. Herbal supplements are powerful, and lemon is powerful. Be thoughtful about what you combine, especially if you are taking multiple supplements and also consuming large amounts of lemon daily. Now, here is something I really want you to take away from everything we have covered today. This conversation was never about demonizing lemon. Lemon is genuinely wonderful. It contains compounds that support immune function, cardiovascular health, skin health, digestion, and even cognitive function. These are real, evidence-based benefits that are particularly meaningful as we age. What this conversation was about is nuance. It is about understanding that your body at 60, 70, or beyond is a more finely tuned and sensitive system than it was decades ago. What you put into it matters. How you combine things matters. And staying informed is one of the most powerful things you can do for your own health. I also want to gently remind you that nothing I have shared today should replace a conversation with your personal physician or pharmacist. Every person is different. Your health history, your current medications, your kidney function, your gut health, all of these things are individual to you. The information I share is meant to educate and empower you to have those conversations, not to alarm you or replace professional guidance. So here is what I encourage you to do starting today. Take a moment to think about how you currently use lemon. How much, how often, and what you are pairing it with. Think about the medications and supplements you are taking. And if anything we talked about today raised a question or a concern, write it down and bring it up at your next doctor's appointment. You deserve to be an active, informed participant in your own healthcare. And one more thing before I go. I mentioned at the start that I would love to hear from you. So please, right now, scroll down to the comments and tell me, what surprised you the most from what we covered today? Was there a combination you had no idea could be a concern? Or maybe you have a question you want me to address in a future video. I read as many comments as I possibly can, and I genuinely love hearing from you. If this video is helpful to you, please give it a like. It helps more people like you find this content. And honestly, knowing that this information is reaching people who need it means everything to me. And if you are not subscribed yet, please consider doing so. We cover topics like this every week. Real health information for real people who want to live their best life at every age. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Take good care of yourself, make thoughtful choices, and remember that your health is your greatest wealth. I will see you in the next one.